Jimmy Kimmel isn't dropping his proposed IQ showdown with President Trump. He's doubling down and even giving it a new name. On Tuesday's Jimmy Kimmel Live, the host revisited the idea he floated the night before: a televised IQ test between Trump and the two Democratic congresswomen the president, mocked as low IQ Texas Reppers Jasmine Crockett and New York. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Pipe was going to call it Grandpa Don's Dementia Bowl. No, Kimmel said Tuesday, but I feel like he wouldn't want that on the trophy. So instead, we're calling it the James C. Kimmel Cognitive Aptitude and Mental Brilliance Invitational. Kimmel described the event as a real competition, adding, "This is not a joke. I'm very serious about making this happen." He went on to address Trump directly, pitching the event as the ultimate ego play. What's the thing you cherish most above all else? Above family? That's right, ratings. Think of the ratings. They will be huge. They'll be bigger than the night I came back after you tried to have me canceled. Kimmel then imagined the broadcast as a global television spectacle. We'll go live coast to coast, Hollywood to the Mar-a-Lago omelet station. Show those losers what a winner you are. He capped it with a straight-faced invitation. We would be honored by your participation. Kimmel's idea was born out of comments Trump made aboard Air Force One Monday, when he bragged about passing what he described as an IQ test during a recent physical exam. In reality, it was a dementia screening, the same one he's touted previously, but Trump insisted he'd aced it and claimed that Democrats like Crockett and Ocasio-Cortez couldn't do the same. The stunt fits neatly into the Jimmy Kimmel Live host's long rivalry with Trump, blending Kimmel's flair for showmanship with the president's well-known obsession with spectacle. Kimmel promised Tuesday it would be the greatest television show of all time, and if the president were to take the bait, it just might be. The late-night television landscape has long been a battleground for political satire, but Jimmy Kimmel is now attempting to turn that stage into a primetime intellectual coliseum. In a bold and characteristically theatrical move, the host of Jimmy Kimmel Live is not just revisiting his proposal for a televised IQ showdown between former President Donald Trump and two Democratic congresswomen, he is formally institutionalizing it, complete with a grandiloquent new title and a direct, camera-ready appeal to the former president's most cherished metric, ratings. What began as a monologue quip has evolved into a full-fledged challenge. On Tuesday night's broadcast, Kimmel escalated his proposition from the previous evening, transforming it from a comedic notion into what he insists is a serious production pitch. I was going to call it Grandpa Don's Dementia Bowl, Kimmel quipped, showcasing his signature sharp-edged humor. But I feel like he wouldn't want that on the trophy. With a flourish of faux grandeur, he then unveiled the new, ostentatious name for the event, the James C. Kimmel Cognitive Aptitude and Mental Brilliance Invitational. The proposed event, as Kimmel described it with a straight face, would pit Trump against Representatives Jasmine Crockett of Texas and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, the very congresswomen the former president recently mocked as having a low IQ. Striking a tone of mock seriousness, Kimmel looked directly into the camera and assured his audience, "This is not a joke. I'm very serious about making this happen. A pitch, tailored for a television president." Understanding his intended participant better than most, Kimmel then crafted his appeal directly to Trump's well-documented ego and obsession with media performance. In a segment that blended satire with a perceptive understanding of its subject, Kimmel addressed the former president as if he were a network executive. "What's the thing you cherish most above all else? Above family?" Kimmel asked, pausing for dramatic effect. "That's right, ratings. Think of the ratings. They will be huge. They'll be bigger than the night I came back after you tried to have me canceled." This reference to their long-running feud served as a potent reminder of the personal history between the two public figures. Kimmel, who has been a persistent and vocal critic of Trump, was the target of a social media post from the then-president in 2023, in which Trump called for ABC to cancel his show. Kimmel's triumphant return the following night garnered significant viewership, a fact he now wields as evidence of the drawing power their clash commands. Kimmel's vision for the broadcast was painted in the grandiose strokes of a global sporting event. "We'll go live coast to coast, Hollywood to the Mar-a-Lago omelet station," he proclaimed, a sly dig at Trump's Florida club. He framed the entire spectacle as the ultimate opportunity for Trump to prove his superiority on his own terms. "Show those losers what a winner you are." He capped the elaborate pitch with a perfectly delivered, solemn invitation. "We would be honored by your participation. The genesis, a boast aboard Air Force One. The catalyst for this elaborate late-night stunt was a comment Trump made aboard his Political Action Committee's plane, which reporters traveling with him referred to as Air Force One. On Monday, Trump boasted about passing what he inaccurately described as an IQ test during a recent physical examination. In reality, the test in question was almost certainly the Montreal Cognitive Assessment MOCA, a common screening tool for mild cognitive impairment and dementia, the same test he has touted acing in the past. Trump not only claimed to have aced it, but went a step further, asserting that political opponents, like Crockett and Ocasio-Cortez, would be incapable of matching his intellectual feat. It was this specific boast turning a routine medical screening into a weapon of political insult that provided Kimmel with the perfect raw material for his comedic escalation. A long-standing rivalry reaches a new peak. This proposed Invitational is not an isolated incident, but the latest, most elaborate salvo in a long-standing and deeply personal rivalry between the late-night host and the former president. Kimmel has used his platform for years to critique Trump's policies, rhetoric, and character, often blending genuine political criticism with biting comedy. Trump, in turn, has repeatedly demonstrated his sensitivity to late-night mockery, seeing it not just as comedy, but as a potent form of political opposition. The stunt fits seamlessly into Kimmel's modus operandi, which often involves blending showmanship with substantive critique. By adopting the language of high-stakes television events, the grandiose title, the promise of massive ratings, the live coast-to-coast broadcast, Kimmel is effectively holding a mirror up to Trump's own persona, reflecting a world where everything, including cognitive ability, is a competition for public approval. Whether the former president will ever acknowledge the challenge, let alone accept it, remains highly doubtful. The logistical and political absurdity of a former president participating in a televised IQ test hosted by a comedic adversary is self-evident. Yet, in the court of public opinion, Kimmel's move is strategically brilliant. It keeps the focus on Trump's own boasts and his history of personal insults, all while demonstrating the power of a late-night host to frame a political conversation on his own terms. As Kimmel promised his audience, it would be the greatest television show of all time. While the likelihood of it ever airing is infinitesimally small, the very proposal has already succeeded in creating a memorable moment of political theater, proving that in the modern media landscape, the battle between a president and a late-night host is often fought not with policy papers, but with punchlines, spectacle, and an invitation to a cognitive aptitude invitational that the world might just tune in to see.